Welcome back to Victory Woodworks with Vic, and I'm Vic. Today's episode is actually going to be one of those shortcuts to victory episodes where we do a quick unboxing of something we just bought to replace something we built a long time ago that just doesn't quite function like it used to. So today, what we're going to look at is a straight line and tapering jig from Powertec. The model number on this is 71395. Cost $68 ship. Amazon shipping. Got it on Amazon. Now, I bought this with the hopes of replacing this straight line and tapering jig that I built, I don't know how many years ago. Tried it on the saw. You know what? I used hardwood here. It's loose. You can see I taped it up. It just wasn't working like it was supposed to. So I said, you know what? I could spend some time and make another one of these, or I could just see what else is out there and purchase one of these. So that's what I did. Let's unbox and see what we have inside. So the box actually came in relatively good shape. Actually, very good shape. It's got a whole bunch of these staples here on the side. Just going to pull them all out. Okay, let's look at the parts that were inside the box. We've got the base, which is looks like some sort of formica or some sort of covering over MDF. Looks nice. We have the adjustable fence with T-rack and stop plate. So here's a T-fence. What do you call it? T-track, and stop plate is on this side. Okay, we have a tapered knob. We've got a couple other knobs. We have the hold downs. We have the track itself, which is a 36-inch track, and we got some grip tape, some scales that we probably will put on here somewhere, and we have a micro screwdriver in here, which I believe is for adjusting the nylon screws that are inside the miter bar. All right, let's start assembly. Step one is to install these little nylon screws into the miter bar using this micro screwdriver here. It's kind of annoying when manufacturers leave out a few parts that you kind of need to put everything together. So right now I'm looking for flathead screws, which are 5/16 by 18, 1/4 20 by 3/4. They're not here. So I got my own. These are the 1-inch 1/4 20, so we'll see what happens when I do the install. I'm going to have to go back to the manufacturer and see if I can get the screws, or just run out to Home Depot and buy them there. But it's just kind of annoying. Check your packages. Make sure everything's in there like it's supposed to be. And you know what else I'm looking at over here? Is these flathead 5/16 16 1-inch screws. I don't see those here either. So it looks like a bag of screws with those two sets of screws in it is missing. So again, a little disappointing, but let's move forward anyway. You know, I just checked the sizing of this. So it's going to go into this hole. It's going to go through the miter bar. But as I line it up here, 1/4 inch is sticking out the bottom. So these are not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run out to Home Depot real quick, buy 1/4 20 3/4 inch bolts or screws, and then flathead 5/16 18 1-inch screws, so that I can complete the assembly of this piece. See you in a little bit. Just got back from Home Depot with some 1/4 20 3/4 inch bolts that should have been in the kit but weren't. So let's just add these, or insert these. All right, all these pre-cut holes are spot on. Very easy installation. So they fit nicely. Next we're going to do is we're going to install the handle, which takes the 5/16 inch bolt, washer, and the handle itself. See if we can speed this up. All right. The next step is to actually cut off the edge here to make it flush with the blade. But before I did that, I just kind of inserted this into the miter slot and found it's very tight. I can't push it all the way through. What I did do was I made sure that all the grub screws were completely in. And I'm not sure if this bar is bent or if it's just too wide. But it seems to fit here. All right. And then as I slide through, it might, like right here, it tends to stick. Now, I'm not sure what's going on, so I'm going to loosen this up completely. And maybe the screws are causing it to bend a little bit. So let's see what happens. If we can, we still can't. So it's not that. So I'm going to tighten these back up. So now the issue is that the miter bar, I think, is just a little too wide. It's a little too wide. This is a Powermatic, and this is standard slot. So I don't understand why I would be having any kind of problems. This saying it's exactly 3/4 of an inch. And this is exactly 3/4 of an inch. 3/4. 3/4. And what do we have here? 3/4. So it seems that these are machined to the exact thickness of 3/4 and 3/4, and there's no tolerance, or not enough tolerance, for this thing to slide smoothly. So let me scratch my head here for a minute and think about what we can do to fix this. I'm thinking the only thing we can do is just lightly sand the edge down on both sides to get it to be just under 3/4 of an inch, so it actually fits into the miter bar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with a little 180 or whatever, just to kind of shave down to one side just a hair, just so we get it to fit into the slot a little bit better. I gently sanded the miter bar on the one side, and you know what? It now goes through nice and smoothly. I'm not sure what was going on there, other than maybe the miter bar itself was just a hair too big. You know what? Good thing it's aluminum. It was easy enough to sand. Let me put the screws back in, and then what we'll do is we'll cut it so that it's flush with the blade itself. So let's see how we did. That's like butter. There's no wiggle. So I think we're in good shape here. So as the instructions say next is to raise the blade and cut it flush. Okay, next step is to apply this grip tape here in a couple different areas to keep your lumber from sliding. So let's just peel and stick here. This is the easy part of the build. That is, if you can get the backing off the tape. Now, where you apply this is really up to you. And it is very rough. All right, next step is to attach these knobs into the bottom of the slide so that we can attach our guide here. So we've got one in here. Just slide it in, spin it on. Now they have these tape measures on here, allow you to stick it on here also. To be honest with you, I really don't think I'm going to be using these, but for the sake of completeness, I guess I'll just put these on, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do about it later. So to do that, let's pull this off again, spin it out of the way, and we're just going to put it here on the edge, all the way at the bottom. I'm going to line it up with the zero clearance, or yeah, the zero clearance, and we're going to stick it on. Okay, that's at 0. So let's do the other side too. Again, like I said, I don't believe that this tape's going to be used all that much, but for completeness, let's do what we got to do here. Okay, so we have one assembled jig here. Why don't we give it a test cut and see it in action. So essentially, the way you typically would use this is you would stick your lumber in, you'd have a mark up front here, somewhere based on where you wanted your taper to start or end, depending on how you look at it. Then what you do is you just clamp this down, okay? Then we clamps, let's make sure they're not exceeding the edge here, which this one is not. This one we're going to put here. So you're cutting off from here all the way to the back edge over here. So what I'm going to do is just clamp that down also. And then we're all set. So now we're going to put our ear protection on and give this thing a spin. Okay, as you can see, we cut a sliver off. And we're all set to go here. Let me just lower this out of the way. You can see the sliver we cut off. Okay. Looks like it works. So the Powertec taper and straight line jig. What do I think? Well, we saw that all the parts didn't come in the box. We were missing the 1/4 20 by 3/4 inch bolts to screw the miter bar into the platform itself. Secondly, the miter bar itself might be oversized. For me, you saw it was a little too big. I had to sand down the edge to get it to fit into the miter bar. But after that, it's in there rock solid. From a functionality point of view, you saw it did what it needed to do. We were able to clamp it down and take our cut. Absolutely no issues there. So on a scale of 1 to 5, I think you got 4.5 stars on Amazon. I give it 4 for missing parts and the fact that I had to tweak the miter bar myself. So if you learned something new, you like what you saw here, please like and subscribe to our channel. Helps us out a lot. Stay passionate. See you in the next video.